Go.
Hey friends, here I am with your May market update. This one is super interesting. We have just been in a really unique market, and one of the things I probably say the most often is when I get the question, how's the market right now? I'm like, well, it depends on where you're located and what kind of property you're selling. It is such a unique market. It truly depends. You could be in a completely different situation from this neighborhood over here to this neighborhood 2 miles away. Different price points matter, different locations matter, everything, whether you're in a first-time home buyer price point or a luxury price point, those things have always mattered, but I feel like we're seeing a lot more stark differences in all the different possibilities. So all that to say, in most places, the average sales price either stayed about the same or did drop back just a little bit. Now, this is month compared to month, so keep in mind that from, the end, so the average sales price for last year total to the average sales price for net this year, there will be an increase overall. But when we look month over month and we're sort of micro analyzing this data, we did see a little bit of an decrease in this month in most places, or we stayed steady. The two exceptions of that were Tarrant County. We did see a pretty decent increase from about 450 to 465-ish. So Tarrant County is doing well. Dallas, I think this might be indicative too. That luxury price point. The average sales price in Dallas went from $560 to $650. So what that tells me is that there was a lot of luxury and higher end purchases happening in Dallas during this month. And maybe not as many of the first time home buyers and people coming in with a little bit lower budget. So that is not surprising considering what the interest rates are and what it's doing to affordability for people who are just trying to enter the market. So the Dallas sales price jump was super interesting. But I think that we will see it come back down in the month of July. So that'll be a really interesting statistic to look at. So here is what I want to talk about now that we're like way too long into this video and I haven't brought it up yet. And that is months of inventory and the number of closed sales versus the number of listings that are coming on the market and how those numbers are all affecting each other. If you look at this report, you will see that our closed sales in every county are actually down. So like in Tarrant County, for example, last year in 2023, in the month of May, there were 2,268 closed sales in Tarrant County. This year, there were 2,143. So that's a pretty good drop. But if you look at the number of new listings put on the market, last year in Tarrant County, there were 2,789 new listings put on the market in May. There were 3,174 put on the market of May of this year. So if you see higher listing numbers and lower closed sales numbers, that is automatically going to translate to more inventory, so a greater length of months of inventory. And by the way, when anybody refers to we have 3 months of inventory or 6 months of inventory or whatever that number is, what they mean by that is if we sold every house,
unknown caller.
so sorry, if we sold every house that was on the market starting right now and no new listings came on, if we just sold what we have right now, it would take about that many months. That's the months of inventory that we have, okay? So we have been ranging in every county from about 2 to 3, and it has gone up to 3 to 4, which is not a huge increase. And most economists and people in real estate and whoever will tell you that a healthy, evenly balanced buyer to seller market is about 6 months of inventory. So again, I think it would be an interesting breakdown. I don't have it here, but an interesting breakdown of what those 3 months of inventory hold. What percentage of those properties are under 500,000? What percentage of those properties are over $1 million? What percentage of those properties are in different brackets? And how does your months of inventory is probably going to be much lower in the lower price points. So the total sales volume obviously is down just a smidge. not by a lot, but with prices increasing, even if closed sales are decreasing, the total sales volume is still kind of staying steady, maybe dropping a little bit. One thing I do want to note is the average days on market still is not, it's not bad, y'all. There was a time when the average days on market was like 120 days. We're telling people 10 years ago, we're telling people it's going to take 4 to 6 months to sell your house, which now the average days on market in most of the counties is anywhere between 40 and 50. Johnson and Ellis County are up in the 70s, but being a little bit more rural on the outskirts of the metroplex, those that's not surprising either. Yeah, so lots of information here. This was a really interesting one to me because of how wonky some of the numbers can be. If you have questions about this information, or if you have questions about your specific situation, when I say, you ask me how the market is and I say, well, it depends on where you live and what you own and what your plans are, I'd be happy to answer those questions for you specifically so I can tell you how the market is for you. One thing I want to highlight before I go, it is never, in my opinion, a bad idea to buy. Interest rates will go up, they will go down, they will go sideways, I don't think they go sideways, but anyway, interest rates go up and down. That is a piece of the market. If it is time in your life to move and you can afford to do it, it is never a bad time to make a different investment in real estate, okay? Because real estate is an appreciating investment, which means that if you buy it today, it will be worth more next year. There are certain things that can affect that. Yes, we have seen crashes in the past, but for all intents and purposes, if you're gonna live in a house for 5 to 10 years, it will absolutely be worth more at the end of your stay than it was when you bought it, okay? So, all that being said, it's never a bad time to buy or sell. I'm working with multiple buyers right now who are selling one property, buying another. They're doing that simultaneously. We are seeing a market where some sellers will consider and accept a contingency. So it is a good time to do this if you are interested in doing it. You're gonna have less competition as soon as those interest rates drop, if they do. If the interest rates drop, as soon as they start with a 5, you will see a frenzy of people rushing into the market and prices will get driven up again. That is my opinion. But if you're ready to do something or you just have questions and just curiosities, I am always more than happy to answer. Hope everything is going well and I can't wait to talk to you next time.